Well, we are live, by the way. I just went live. All right. Make sure y'all hop on in and then come to your email. That's what Nebu's saying. Okay, I'll email it to him then. Let me just email Nebu the. All right, just shared it to Nebu. Let's give it a second. I know he want to jump on in, and then once Nebu get in, we'll start the proceedings this evening.
Start skating. Why they scaping?
hmm
Scapegoating. Tom is right.
Yep.
Tom is right.
Let's get the frequency going too. Gotta get the frequency going.
Yes. Bring it. Bring it.
I like to, for those that are coming in the chat. Okay, here we go. Nebu has joined. Let me get him in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, true peace. Yeah,
True peace.
we dancing with the ancestors right now, getting the
Okay.
frequency, getting the frequency rolling. But yes, all the
Yeah.
kings. Nah, but you
Yeah. When
good,
you
huh? Go
no
ahead.
when you sent the link yesterday and the day
Mhm.
before, you sent you emailed me because I go to the link through my email.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Okay.
I get it. All right. So since everybody's here, I will get the show started. Um, let the ancestors do their thing in the background while we get the proceedings going. All right. So yes, true peace,
Mhm.
all kins and friends. I'm A-Noot Bununupu. I am a member of the African race, also known as the Ethiopian and woolly head race. I'm also a proud representative of Noon and Nupu by way of our great and noble messenger, Afro Ununupu. I am thankful that we are here tonight once again to do another live stream on the Nature of Nature series, specifically the nine-ball booklets. I have my other three noble kins with me. They will introduce themselves, and after they introduce themselves, I will begin the live stream. So go ahead, noble kins.
True peace, everyone. This is new Karu Nupu. I'm a Nunibu assembler and scroll reformer of Sound Right Reason, Non Nature Academy. As we here, we're gathering, and we're gonna do some more decoding. This here building with the Nunibus for another night.
All right, who's the next up?
Todd, think did Todd do his introduction?
No, he didn't. Not as yet. But you can go ahead since you we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. True peace, cans and friends. I am Nibu Ray Uno Nupu. a Nunibu. I am a, I am also a helper with pushing this information out. Um, by way of noon science, sound right reason, knowledge, wisdom, sound right reason. Um, this information is very pertinent for the spirit, and I hope you all are getting this information and appreciating this work that's getting put out. True peace.
That True Peace, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
True Peace, my name is Tarkino Lanuku. I'm also a part of the Ethiopian race. And we are here for the next third installment of the Ken on his channel. So let's help him grow and let's get the knowledge out there. True Peace.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I appreciate the amazing introductions from the noble kins themselves. Um, I just also want to thank anyone out there that may be showing up and supporting the channel. I also, would like you to like, share, and subscribe. Just know that the greatest gift that you can give someone is sound right reason or correct information to help liberate their minds from the miserable conditions that we face as far as the African race is concerned. We are actually in what you would call overtime right now. We passed the 6 year period for what we would call the when the cataclysm was supposed to occur. But there is some cataclysmic events happening as a matter of fact at this present moment in day and time, which happens to be October 27th, happens to be a 9 day, October 27th, 2025. There is a hurricane going through Jamaica as we speak,
Mhm.
Hurricane Melissa. And this is the largest hurricane that has ever been recorded in their history in this particular point in time. They're experiencing winds at about 175 miles per hour, and about 40 inches of rain fall that is supposed to be hitting landfall at
Mhm.
6 a.m. in the morning. So I want you all to keep in your meditations, Jamaica and all our kins that are on that island that might be devastated by this particular hurricane that is passing through that particular region. I also think that Haiti and the Dominican Republic and just the Caribbean as a whole is being affected by the hurricane. So I send my heart warm healings to the island of all the Caribbean islands, but specifically Jamaica and Haiti and the Dominican Republic. All right. So with that being said, I will move on to the show. Okay. I don't even think I set it up. Too funny, but give me 1 second. It'll take 2 seconds to do this. So we're gonna click on the 9 ball booklet. I'm gonna share that real quick. Share screen. Understand. Window. 9 ball. Share. All right. Y'all. Oh wait. Nope. It has to load up. Okay. Y'all see that on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So, like I always start out in the beginning with just letting y'all know that this symbol is our symbol, which happens to be the 9 ball, also known as the Noop symbol, Noop, Noop, and that's short for Nupu. All right, Nupu means 9 power. All right. The T is for the N is for 9, and the circle is the ball. So this is the 9 ball. Okay. This is count 2. This is the second installment of the 9 ball booklets. Liberation information. It was published by Those Who Care. It was written by Wunupu, Asunupu, and Nabanupu, which happens to be Afro Unu Gipu and Nabanupu. Okay, it was printed in the United States of America, dedicated to Ethiopian liberation in New York, 1971. 1971 happened to be a 9 year, and this year happens to be a 9 year as well, 2025. Okay, so we're going to skip down to the section that we'll be reading from, and which happens to be how to economize. Last episode we did 27 to 30. Today we'll be doing 31 to 35. Okay, and of course I will start out with reading the first paragraph from the actual non-ball, and then we'll graduate and move on to the chat GPT, or the artificial intelligence, which will help us to break down the information just a little further. Also track down any information that can help us to strengthen the research that Afro has done to give us this great work. All right. So, paragraph 31, we Ethiopians must create our own styles designed for comfort and simplicity. We must not let the Caucasian influence us on what we should get to wear, or how many we need. We only need to be clean and neat and comfortable as far as clothing is concerned. We must not let the Caucasian influence us on what is best for us to eat. He may tell us that pig is all right to consume, but we know that pig is a diseased animal by nature who possesses poisonous flesh. By nature,
Share the
hog.
screen, Ken.
It's not
So you,
shared.
no.
How come it came off the screen? That's weird. I guess this is the retrograde working in our.
Hmm.
I don't know what's going on. Why that just came off like that. But thank you for noticing that. This is why we got multiple
No
people,
problem.
on the platform to help, because that's weird. I don't understand how that came off. All right. So I was where it says he may tell us that pig is all right to consume, but we know that pig is a diseased animal by nature who possesses poisonous flesh. By nature, hogs produce trichina worms, which cause disease called trichinosis. We must decide for ourselves what is best for us to eat, and how much and cook it in a way that it is best for health. This way we save money for the other vital purposes, and at the same time save lives. And that's true. Bacon is like one of the delicacies in this what you call a society. That's a poisonous thing to consume, man. When we are messing with this pig, man, you know.
Hmm.
So we got to be careful. But let's see.
They'll
Let's see if
tear
the
you up if you try to get in the ones that like eating it.
mm-hmm. They'll fight for that pig, that pork. Why'd I gotta have my bacon? What is you talking about?
That
Bacon is
that
healthy.
POK. That POK.
Facts. So wait, what did I do here? Oh, wait. Give me a second. Let me get back to what I'm supposed to get back to real quick. I have to stop the screen share for a second, because I think that I scrolled down just to view to make sure that everything was okay. All right, we're gonna go back up to 31. All right, here we go. Sorry about that delay, y'all. All right, summary of 31. Nope, we need to start here. Okay, here we go. No, we starting from 30. Sorry. All right, original text for 30. Got you. All right. Sorry about that. But yeah, that pig is dangerous, y'all. Stay away from the pig. The pig is one of the worst animals on the planet. All right. Let me know if y'all see that this time around.
I see it.
Great. All right. So I just read the first one. Um
Hmm.
wait. Am I
It's just
confusing
showing.
myself?
It's
Yeah,
showing the Nodiac on my screen. There you go. It just come up.
oh, it just came up. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it.
Okay, great. All right. Wait, hold on for a second. Give me 1 second, y'all, because for some reason, 31. How come? Wait, I think Chat GPT might be, or maybe it's. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on, because that's not the same paragraph as the paragraph before. So let me make sure that
It's paraphrasing.
no. It showed original paragraph, but it's not that wasn't the original paragraph. So maybe I'm in the wrong one. Hold on. There we go. Economize. Okay. I apologize for this delay, y'all. Let me I should have had this prepared. So this is actually my fault. All right. What is maybe maybe I'm the one that second. Oh, I see what's going on. For some reason in the chat it has paragraph 31 as paragraph 29. So paragraph 29 says another gimmick. So let me see if paragraph 33 happens to be um the one with the trichina. What is something is going on here? And you see this? This is 32 is hold on, let me screen share so y'all could see what I'm seeing. Cause that's pretty interesting that it skipped the paragraph that we supposed to be discussing. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Just let me know if y'all see the screen.
Okay, I see it.
See the screen? Okay, so the original text for
32.
paragraph 32, and then you have the original text for paragraph 31. So if you go to the actual nine ball, that's the paragraph 31 that speaks about the trichinosis. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually do this live. I'm gonna copy and paste the um the non-ball paragraph, and I'm gonna do it right here. That way, copy text. All right, and I'm gonna let the chat know that we skipped the paragraph. All right, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this live. So y'all see me scrolling all the way down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
In real time.
Okay, actually, we skipped a paragraph to break down. Let's discuss this paragraph right now using the same sequence. Okay. All right. So let's skip. Perfect. Thank you for catching it. All right. Paste. Go ahead and paste the paragraph now. All right. So paragraph 31. We're gonna do it real quick. All right. Yes, this one deserves its own breakdown. All right, so we're gonna do it real time right now. So, and if any mistakes are being made, we're gonna correct it from there. So y'all see that?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So we just read paragraph 31 about the trichinosis and the pig. All right. And we are not supposed to be getting their ideas as far as diet is concerned because their diet simply is not our diet. Okay? So key ideas: cultural autonomy in style and diet. Health as a pillar of economic liberation. And that's a fact. Health is definitely a pillar. Um, and as it stands to reason, we are probably the sickest race in America as we speak, with all kind of heart diseases and all kind of stuff that we're dealing with. We're just not a healthy people at the moment. Okay, rejecting external definitions of normal consumption, self-determined nutrition and simplicity as forms of wealth preservation, scientific and historical support, creating our own styles, comfort and simplicity, ergonomic evidence, garments allowing free movement and breathability, improve circulation, thermal regulation, and musculoskeletal health. Tight or synthetic garments increase skin irritation, infection risk, and restricted mobility. See International Journal of Fashion Design 2018. Economic angle. Fast fashion cycles encourage excess consumption and waste. $500 billion in global value lost annually through underutilized clothing. Mm. Ellen MacArthur Foundation in 2017. Simplicity reduces waste and preserves resources. Anthropological context. Traditional African dress forms, hand woven, climate appropriate, body freeing, prioritized comfort and symbolic aesthetics rather than arbitrary fashion seasons. On pig consumption and trichinosis, biological fact: Trichinella spiralis larvae can infect pork muscle tissue and cause trichinosis when undercooked meat is eaten. Symptoms include fever, muscle pain, and inflammation. CDC, U.S. Public Health Service. Modern data: incidence in the U.S. has dropped sharply because of inspection and cooking standards, but the parasite still exists globally in wild and poorly managed stock. Health science: pork tends to be high in saturated fats and inflammatory compounds. Epidemiological data links heavy processed pork intake to higher cardiovascular and colorectal cancer. And colorectal cancer risk. The WHO and the IARC Group 1 classification of processed meats 2015. Cultural anthropology. Many ancient cultures, the Kemetic, Hebrew, and Islamic, banned pork due to its scavenger diet and heat sensitivity in arid climates. Early ecological hygiene practice disguised as religious law. Reasoning and interpretation. Economic reasoning: when communities set their own clothing and dietary standards, they stop funding exploitative industries. Fast fashion, industrial meat, capital remains local. Psychological reasoning: self-chosen aesthetics and diets increase self-esteem and collective identity, countering dependence on external validation. Biological reasoning: clean, plant-based, or naturally raised foods reduce inflammation, disease load, and healthcare costs, translating to longer productive lifespans. Alignment with Noon science. Concept: comfort and simplicity. Alignment with natural flow, the SMAT balance. Harmony between body and environment. Rejecting foreign standards. Protection of mind of mind field from external frequencies. Independence of thought and design. Pork as toxic matter. Six ether residue. Decay energy. Avoidance of dense devolving matter. Choosing our diet consciously. activation of 9 ether resonance, food as energy, nutrition as vibrational evolution. So the paragraph integrates biochemistry, health, and economy, resource flow, plus metaphysics, energy purity. Summary and actionable reflection. Paragraph 31 instructs that liberation includes bodily autonomy to dress and eat according to our own biological and spiritual needs, not commercial dictation. By choosing simplicity, we gain comfort, preserve wealth, and protect health. By refusing diseased foods and exploitative fashions, we keep our energy clear and our economy strong. In practice, adopt community design clothing design stand sorry, adopt community design clothing standards based on comfort and climate. Promote plant-centered or alkaline nutrition consistent with ancestral biology. Redirect money saved from consumer fads into education, health, and local enterprise. Okay? So we're gonna scroll back up now. Because we gotta get back to the next paragraph. Um, all right, so let's go to 30. All right, so we just gotta keep that in mind because that skipped a paragraph. Okay. So let me see which one is this now. The next one is like other people, we must control our communities. Okay, let's see what 30 says. Okay, nope. We gotta go to like other community, we must control our. There we go. Here we go. This is the next paragraph. Like other people, we must control our own communities and own and operate all businesses in our communities. This is a major step forward to a major step toward liberation because it would mean that we have reached the point of getting what we need from its original source. One of the first ways our liberation will show progress is through business control by us in our own communities. Because whatever racial group or groups control the businesses in a community control that, sorry, whatever, because whatever racial group or groups control the businesses in a community control that community as far as the commerce of that community is concerned. However, we cannot accomplish these things with Negro mind, meaning negative mind. Therefore, one purpose of these booklets entitled The Nine Ball is to help change Negro mind to positive mind, the kind of mind we need for creativeness. And of course, creativity is the key to liberation. And one thing I must say is that we were our most successful when we had Black Wall Street. I don't know if you guys remember, but reading and studying Black Wall Street, I remember when we ran our own communities in the 19 no, this is the 1800 no 19 early 1900s, late 1800s. We had Black Wall Street and we had our own doctors' offices, we had hospitals, we had our own bus systems, all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
and we were
Yep.
thriving. You understand?
Yep.
Until the Caucasian came in and destroyed those things.
Bombing stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
And
bro.
to my understanding, it was more than one Black Wall Street. It wasn't not just that one in Alabama. It was
Mm-hmm.
more than one Black Wall Street. So we must, if we don't create Black Wall Street here, we need to turn Africa into Black Wall Street as a whole. You understand? But we need cooperation from our ancestors abroad, not ancestors, our kins abroad, because they're not our ancestors, they're still living. So we need their cooperation to understand. Of course, we have some leaders who are cooperating, like Traore and the other leaders of the Sahel region, but we also need the entire Africa to be on board so that we can take our talents to Africa and help build Africa back up. So all of our talents that we have here, we need to take it to Africa, and we need to have a welcome home to Africa in which they will allow us to get our housing and our orders in order, and then build up Africa again so that we can become a united people again. Okay, let's see if ChatGPT
We
touches.
shall be.
Indeed, but let's see if ChatGPT touches on that. We must control our own communities and own and operate all businesses in our communities. Key idea: liberation requires economic sovereignty and local ownership of production, distribution, and services, especially in the neighborhood or region where people live. Historical slash sociological support in every functioning ethnic enclave: Chinatown, Little Italy, Jewish, Arab, Indian, Korean communities. Economic control is achieved because commerce circulates internally before leaving. Sociology of ethnic community sociology of ethnic economies shows that when businesses within a community are not owned by the residents of that community, capital flows outward, creating dependency instead of wealth. Reasoning: if necessities are purchased from outside owners, the wealth generated inside the community leaves it, preventing economic growth and collective stability. And I could actually vouch for that right here in New York City. You go to the any of the Williamsburg neighborhoods where the Jews live, they got that on lock. All that money stays within the community. All the stores are Jewish owned. Even if there's like a even if there's like a Whole Foods, they won't even allow a Whole Foods there, but you'll see something called partial foods there, and it look just like a Whole Foods, but it's a Jewish style. This is the type of thing that we need to do in our communities. We need to, even if we're in America, we still need to lock down our communities and create our own tribes, as far as, let's just, be a so like Williamsburg has their own Jewish tribe. There's literally called Williamsburg Jews. Then you go to Borough Park, there's Borough Park Jews. You understand? And when you go to Chinatown, there's Chinese people in Chinatown, and in another part of the Asian community, you'll see, oh no, this is where the North Koreans live. So there's a Korean community there, right? And they own the houses and the restaurants and the businesses there. Then you go to Coney Island in New York, and then there's a Russian community there, and the Russians own the stores and the houses, and the money is flowing over there. Then, so there's different communities that operate as their own little small country. You understand? If you go and the Russians take care of the Russians over there. The Chinese take care of the Chinese over there. The Jews take care of the Jews wherever they're living. But when you come to the black community, that's usually the quote unquote gentrified area. That's where it's mixed, because black people do not own any land or any of the unified businesses there. So we might own a nightclub, we might own a what you call it, a Caribbean food store or something like that, but we don't collectively run or own that neighborhood. I remember when Harlem used to be a black community. Not no more. You look at Harlem. Harlem is completely decimated. Okay. All right, but we'll move on. Getting what we need from its original source. Key idea: to own supply chain, not only shops, but the means of production. This includes food source, farms, gardens, distribution, co-ops. Clothing source: garment makers, textile vendors, shelter source, real estate, builders, and land trusts, because buying from middlemen equals dependency. Producing is stability, surplus, and bargaining power. In Noon Science language, control of matter, which is resources, must align with control of mind, which is reason, to stabilize time, future generations, the Samat alignment. Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay. Number 3, whoever controls the businesses in a community controls that community. This is a historically verified pattern. Groups control businesses. Groups controls land, stores, and supply chain. Result, group controls prices, hiring, culture, and social norms. Outside group controls businesses. Local people become labor plus consumers. Outsiders extract wealth and power. This principle holds in colonization, modern gentrification, urban redevelopment zones, and digital platform economies. Commerce, cultural authority, and political influence. Whoever your people must go to in order to live controls them. However, we cannot accomplish these things with Negro mind. We must change to positive mind. This is a psychological reorientation, not an insult. Negro mind equals consumer identity, dependency orientation, spend first mentality, seeking validation, imitation from outside cultures, external measure of value, ego slash appearance mind, and positive mind equals producer identity, creative intelligence, cooperative economics, internal standard of value, self-determined purpose, and development of capacity. In new science, Negro mind equals moon consciousness, reflective, dependent, and reactive. Positive mind is sun consciousness, origination, generating, and self-sustaining. This paragraph is saying you cannot build a liberated economy with a consumer mindset. Liberation requires creative consciousness. Of course, I got to take a quick little screenshot because I
Mhm.
like these quotes. Creativity is the key to liberation. That's another beautiful quote that Afro Uno put out there. Reasoning. A community that cannot create must consume. A community that consumes without producing becomes economically subordinate. Creativity includes innovation, business formation, problem solving, cultural expression, scientific application, land development, and skill building. This is why education and imagination are infrastructure. Summary of paragraph 22 condensed. This paragraph teaches that liberation is impossible without economic self ownership. A people must own their businesses, land resources, and supply networks. Whoever controls the commerce controls the people. To achieve this, the community must shift from a consumer dependent mind to a creative independent mind, which the non ball aims to cultivate creativity, the ability to produce rather than imitate is the foundation of sovereignty. All right. Let me just double check to make sure that paragraph 33 is really 33. When we Ethiopians, yes. Okay. So we got three paragraphs to go, 33, 34, and 35. Okay. So three more to go. When we Ethiopians learn to control our individual selves, we can control our families. And if we can control our families, we can control our communities. And if we can control our communities, we can control a city, a state, a nation. Self control is self discipline, and self discipline means moderation in sex and abstinence from strong drinks, narcotics, and tobacco and marijuana smoking, etc. But only the intelligent among us can embrace and maintain this kind of discipline, and they can achieve it and perpetuate it by understanding and adhering to nine knowledge, the best knowledge available to Ethiopians everywhere, anywhere. Sorry. Control of self, control of family, control of community, and control of nation. This is a hierarchical model of power building, matching individual, self, discipline, identity, and will, family, household stability, and cultural continuity, then community, local economy, culture, cooperation, and self sufficiency, and then the city, state, nation, governance, institution building, and liberation. Liberation must scale upward, not start at the top. You do not take a nation first. You take yourself first, then your home, then your community. This is identical to Kemet. Ma'at begins with in the self before it manifests in society. Confucian governance, personal order, household order, and state order. African lineage systems. The family compound is the first government. Uh-oh. So the paragraph is rooting liberation in internal order to external order. I like that. I like that. Screenshot. All right. Self control is self discipline. Scientific and psychological evidence. Research in psychology identifies self control as the strongest predictor of stable relationships, financial stability, health outcomes, lower stress. Longitudinal studies, for example, Dunedin multidisciplinary studies show children with stronger self control become adults with better life outcomes, even more than IQ or family income. In noon science terms, self control equals the sun function, internal energy source. Lack of discipline equals the moon function, reactive independent. Discipline preserves energy, and the energy is life force and ether strength. Moderation in sex and abstinence from intoxicants. Reasoning based on biology and behavior. Excessive sex behavior, dopamine reward chasing weakens focus, motivational reserves, and goal persistence. Hormonal equilibrium. Alcohol, nicotine, and narcotics dysregulate neurotransmitters, especially dopamine, serotonin, and acetylcholine. Decrease executive function and impulse control. Weaken the prefrontal cortex, the seat of will and judgment. This affects discipline, which affects self direction, which affects liberation potential. So, the paragraph's argument liberation is neurological. If the prefrontal cortex, reason center, is weakened, liberation becomes impossible. Man, I've been teaching on the prefrontal cortex for years. Only the intelligent among us can embrace this discipline. This is not elitism, it is function based. Intelligence here equals ability to govern impulses, not book knowledge, not academic achievement, not talent, but controlled attention, clear intention, direction of energy toward purpose. This echoes Kemetic, ancient Kemetic priesthood training, Yoruba initiation discipline, Taoist alchemy practices, Buddhist monastic mental governance. The one who cannot control self cannot guide others. Uh-oh. They achieve and perpetuate this by adhering to nine knowledge, meaning discipline is not random effort, it is guided structure. Nine knowledge provides a framework to align thoughts, emotions, diet, actions, and purpose. In essence, discipline is not willpower, it is alignment. Summary of paragraph 33 condensed. Liberation is not achieved by protests, slogans, or sentiment. It begins with internal order. A person who cannot govern self cannot govern family. A disordered household cannot create an ordered community, and a disorderly people cannot build a sovereign nation. Therefore, self mastery, especially in sexuality, consumption, and intoxicants, is the foundation of Ethiopian liberation. This mastery is supported, structured, and stabilized through the understanding and practice of nine knowledge. I told him he could generate that at the end. We're going to move on to paragraph 34. Those of us who will be liberated must be able to exist like a son by our individual selves, if necessary. That is, without visible physical organization. In other words, each one of us who can liberate self must be able to practice liberation knowledge alone without being a direct member of such physical organization. Nine organization of the mind is prerequisite to physical organization of our physical selves. A son is self-created, and you can create your own mental self by understanding and adhering to son knowledge. A son is self-existent, and you can be self-existent if you understand and accept sun knowledge. Accepting nine knowledge means practicing nine knowledge at all times with every person, place, and thing as reasonable and practical as possible. To be liberated, we must exist like the sun, self-existent. This line is speaking about source consciousness versus dependency consciousness. The sun equals internal source, generates light from within. Nuclear fusion does not borrow light from anything, feeds itself and feeds others. The moon, by contrast, has no light of its own, reflects external energy, depends on another body to shine. In noon science, to be sun is to be originator. To be moon is to be imitator. This paragraph says liberation requires becoming the origin of your own energy, identity, and direction must exist without physical organizational dependency, meaning, even if there's no school, temple, group, institution, or leader, you must still remain mentally aligned. This does not mean isolation, it means self authority. This aligns with monastic training, inner discipline over group conformity, Commission concept of Jed, inner spine, and self uprightness. Taoist concept of returning to the source. The African initiation rites. You learn to stand on your own spirit. Uh-oh. This is a quote actually in Noon. You have to stand on your own merits. All right. Modern psychological correlation. This is internal locus of control. People with an internal locus of control make stronger decisions, resist peer pressure, recover faster from setbacks, are less susceptible to propaganda and social manipulation. Thus, liberation equals autonomy of thought and will. Mental organization precedes physical organization. This is a law of manifestation and also a neurological fact. In brain science, all physical action originates in the prefrontal cortex, executive function, cognitive framing, emotional regulation patterns, neural habit architecture. Meaning, you cannot build a liberated community if the people in it are mentally disordered. The mind must be structured before the society can be structured. This matches Kemet. The temple is built in the mind first. Dogon cosmology, the world is seated in the invisible before the visible. Physics, quantum to classical. Field precedes form. A sun is self created. This refers to self initiation. Not everyone has a teacher, not everyone has a guide, not everyone will have a supportive environment. Therefore, a true liberator must be able to forge themselves from within. This is the highest form of inner alchemy, turning raw life into directed power. In psychological terms, self authorship, identity coherence, self regulated learning, and purpose driven behavior. In noon science terms, aligning space, mind, matter, body, and time actions into one direction, SMAT alignment, accepting nine knowledge and practicing nine knowledge at all times. This is consistency, not a doctrine to quote, a philosophy to admire, but a daily lifestyle, a governance system for speech, food, sex, money, time, and thought. This is not religious faith. It is neural repatterning through repeated alignment. In neurobiology, repeated practices create myelinated neural pathways, character, and identity. So the paragraph is stating liberation is not achieved by learning non-knowledge, but by living it constantly. Summary of 34. Liberation requires becoming self-powered, like the sun, not dependent on external systems, organizations, or validation. The mind must be structured internally before external social, economic, or political structures can be built. The liberated person must be capable of standing alone mentally and emotionally, guided by inner discipline and nine knowledge, consistently applied across all actions and relationships. When you are ready, we can move on to the final paragraph of this section, which is paragraph 35, and we absolutely can. And we're going to close out with this paragraph, y'all. Original text: the last war of the moon cycle, the cycle of ghosts in person of the Caucasian race, is in progress now, and the only ones to survive it are the mentally fittest. The unintelligent and gullible will perish for lack of ability to understand and follow the laws and way of nature. No one can liberate a person. A person must liberate self by understanding and adhering to liberation information. So you see that? Only the liberation information can liberate a person, not another person. So regardless if I'm reading it, regardless if Tarnoon is reading it, regardless of Nebu or Nukaru is reading it, it is the information that is going to liberate the person. We can't liberate you. Only the information can do that. Okay. Number one, the last war of the moon cycle is in progress now. This is speaking about the time cycle shift, not a military war. No, it's going to be a military war too. Moon cycle equals era of reflection, illusion, and dependency. The moon does not produce light, it only reflects. In new science, the moon represents mimicry, imitation, dependency, reactive consciousness, and emotional dominance over reason. Meaning, human society has been living under reflective, reactive consciousness dominated by external validation, identity formed through imitation, emotional reasoning instead of higher reasoning. The war is internal and psychological, not external. Number two, the only ones to survive it are the mentally fittest, not strongest, not richest, not most educated. Mentally fittest. This aligns with evolutionary psychology. Fitness equals adaptability of mind. Neuroscience, survival advantage comes from executive function plus emotional regulation. Indigenous tradition, the elders who survive cycles are those who read the signs correctly. In new science, mental fitness equals clarity of reason, control of impulses, plus self generated identity, sun consciousness. The unintelligent and gullible will perish for lack of ability to understand natural law. Here, intelligent does not mean school trained, book memorization, religion, belief, or ritual skill. It means ability to perceive reality as it is, not as it is marketed. Ability to distinguish truth from psychological manipulation, ability to think without external approval, supporting evidence, modern human behavior research. People who rely on external authority, media, influences, or institutions are most vulnerable during destabilizing periods. Those with internal reasoning systems adapt more quickly and make better survival decisions. In ancient African knowledge, to violate natural law is to break cosmic rhythm, biological rhythm, ancestral order, and ecological balance, which leads to disease, confusion, extinction. So, this line is saying those who resist the natural shift will not be able to continue into the next cycle. No one can liberate a person must liberate self. This is the foundational law of sovereignty. Liberation is not collective first, not given by a leader, not accomplished by a group identity. It begins in the individual mind through discipline alignment and self-sourced identity, psychological correspondence. This is the difference between internal locus of control, freedom, and external locus of control, dependency. The externally controlled mind cannot be liberated by others. Only self-awareness, self-discipline, and self-organization produce liberation. By adhering to liberation information, this is not merely knowledge, it is applied knowledge, a way of life. In new science terms, memorized words equals applied reason. Belief is static knowledge is memorized words, liberation information is applied reason. Static knowledge is belief, liberation information is understanding. Static knowledge is ritual, liberation information is practice. Static knowledge is identity from outside. Liberation information is identity from source. Static knowledge is moon. Liberation information is sun. The shift is from receiving light to producing light. That is the entire sun versus moon transformation. Summary of paragraph 35. The world is transitioning from a moon cycle, dependency, imitation, emotional consciousness into a sun cycle, self-generated reasoning, and sovereign consciousness. During this shift, only those who develop mental discipline and internal source identity will be able to adapt, and thrive. Liberation cannot be given or taught by external authority. Each individual must self-generate their liberation by practicing with reason and natural law. All right. So it says we have now completed paragraph 27 to 35. This section defines the cultural the economic foundation of liberation, the cultural discipline required for liberation, the psychological transformation necessary for liberation, the cosmic timing of liberation, and the self-generated nature of liberation. The next step, as agreed. At the end, we will now create diagrams, visuals, and summary graphics, including need versus want economic discipline graph, style slash fashion economic and health trap diagram, self, family, community, and nation pyramid, sun consciousness versus new moon consciousness chart, liberation cycle chart, process chart. Right. So I started to do that with the chat, but we don't need to discuss that. I'll do that at another time. So, what do the kins think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I look at this as just being the blueprint of everything that needed to be done to get us back in line, as well as the newcomers. I mean, well, it's getting us in line, but it's mainly mainly best and for the focus of the newcomers that's studying noon. Um, as far as our reality, which is how they market it, you know what I mean? Basically, that's just making us believe in a whole lot of stuff that has nothing to do with our spirit, mental, physical health, and
Mhm.
it just continued to weigh us down and stay very sickly from how they market our reality, from food to clothes, shelter, all of that, because they making us think that the way things are is supposed to be our reality, but a lot of people is not going along with it, and there's a lot of pushback. But the only thing that's gonna really change everything is for everybody to liberate the mind and create that non-mind within self to be able to think for themselves and to stand on their own. True peace.
Indeed.
True peace. That was dope. That was good. Um, that's like he says, just like Nebu says. This information is the blueprint, and what this
Mhm.
does now is to take us personally and the ones that's coming in, the Noonie Boos that's coming in. I would say the dead mummies, really, the deadheads, and starting to resurrect their minds, coming back up with the sun, because Ray Harakti is here, and the sun is here, is inside. It's tapping you in the shoulder. That's why you're probably here listening, trying to figure it out. And just keep listening. But you have to read. You have to read because the only way you're going to do it is by you studying on your own and making your own commitment. I mean, there's no way of this here. You can't escape. There's no scapegoat for this. So either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, and there's no in between. It doesn't. That doesn't exist in this field. It's just here or in the Zoop. And we're in the Zoop, we're in the underworld. So that's why it sounds crazy that the timing is crazy, like what Noop was saying, like the timing and everything, because it is. It's not like a dream, but you're you're like that click now. And there was a spell. You know what I mean? So we're reverting the spell. We're gonna ascend the spell, revert it, and get your mind back in order. And that's what's going to happen. And I'm just talking right off the head, and that just came right out of me. True peace.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with everything that everybody said. Like I said, we're moving in the now. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of things that were said that were great um, suggestions is that the sad thing is just is the mental part that we need. And if we could just get the mental part right, we could do everything that the nine ball was saying overnight. But it's going to be hard because of the deepness and, like you said, the attraction of all the wrong stuff: food, shelter, clothes, the consumer mind. Like the chat said, spend first, then think about it later. You know, burst shopping. You know, growth spurt shopping and lining up the unholy days. And we just, like we said the other day, they put so much stuff in there. And so, you know, like you said, you're finna run into Halloween, people finna get sick, and all type of maladies that's coming from that, eating mad types of candy and sweets. And then right after that, you're gonna overeat again for you know, Thanksgiving, which is a Holocaust holiday for humans and animals. And then right after that, Ghostmas, aka Christmas, that's another death holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And right after that, you're gonna go broke for Christmas, and then you're gonna go broker for a Black Friday or so after that, or after the Christmas specials, the New Year's Eve, and then you're gonna be making a bunch of promises called New Year's resolution. Now you're gonna be trying to repent for all of the money you done blew for the past 4 months, and now you're finna be in debt. And then your income tax check finna come back around, and then you finna blow that too. So it's like you blowing money after money after money, and at the same time they're going to be preparing to lock it down. Because I haven't forgot what Fauci said. I think people don't forgot when Biden was in there. He was saying we got to be prepared for a black winter, and he was talking like the COVID was finna bend the curve again, and they just stopped talking about it. So we know that, like I was telling my wife earlier, I think because of since we're looking at the situation at hand, and people are not, only ones who talking about this stuff is people who are kind of conscious, but they surrounded by Negroes and they know it. The difference between us and the rest of these people who so-called woke, they're gonna make money off of the Negro because they know that even the so-called semi-woke Negro is still a consumer. So that's why the hotel hustler niggas is always, they got something to sell. You know, I want you to get my herbs. I want you to get my new book. They still pandering and making money off of that. And the chat said something very important. If you can't create, you just gonna spend. And that's all these people are doing. We the only group of people who are not trying to market something to the level they're on. And I just put something in the group, and one of the peers over there with Brother Richard and another guy, and they talking about Palantir and what is about to go on, and that's all you see. You just see the same circus, and people throwing money in the chat, because they don't understand this. And like I said, get back to what I was saying. Because the one thing that human beings and spirit beings have in common is survival. And I think we only gonna see our people making a move is when they crack down where niggas can't go back to the club after a few weeks of the government shutdown and the food stamps.
Mhm.
They'll shut that down
Mhm.
and then come back and the niggas will go right back to sleep mode. So eventually something's gonna have to happen to force the spirit being into being in survival mode. That if it doesn't help the people that's being held captive for the sake of mankind, then they should be facing extinction. I think then and only then, because the spirit being will now be motivated out of survival, then it will stop blocking uh, non mentally raised Ethiopian people. And so that's me. I always like to look for the gist of it, and that's what it's going to take. So that's what it's going to make our
Mhm.
a little bit more weightier, so people can be because they can't hear us right now. Right now, um, you can't hear over the cries of next month, the food stamps, people crying on the net. I had
Mhm.
$3,000 worth of food stamps and this and that, and
Mhm.
I can't feed my 9 kid. That right there is
Mhm.
showing you that the spirits is helping them people. Black people can't get off of nothing as long as you got the spirit co-creating the belief. Like the chat was saying, it's psychological, which we know is the psyche, which is another mundane word for the spirit. And the spirit is programming masses of people. And that's what we have to keep remembering, that when you hear people talking like that, that's the spirit talking in their voice.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
want to hear all that conspiracy, brother. You
Mhm.
conspiracy, brother. You niggas is 10-4 hat wearing niggas. That's the spirit talking.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna just have to ride it out a little bit. Even the Bible
Mhm.
said it's gonna get rough, right along with the nature books. That's when the timing to come down once the spirit being is put in the corner. And then
Mhm.
people would then be on the same path. And people can wake up, the spirit will stop spellbinding because they don't want to die and deteriorate. They don't want to be told, oh, this is your last life. The human being that you tricking 63 years into the sun cycle, you know better.
Mhm.
They get a chance to come back, but you won't. And once nature start having that conversation with them, and we start looking at things turning in our favor, we'll be good. But long as we keep seeing Donald Trump and them getting millions on top of millions, and he's suing the
Mhm.
Department of Justice for being this and that, and Kodak Black hires a kite still getting money, and they niggas wearing chains and blowing money. And until we see that change, we still know we got a ways to go. Until we see the money changing away from them,
Mm-hmm.
and we start seeing the negative people actually not benefiting and getting uh, punished for the things they doing, like Diddy and the rest of them that we know is out there, then we'll know for sure. But until then, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep coming out, and
Mm-hmm.
see y'all on the next one. True Peace.
Yes, yes, indeed. That was a amazing breakdown. I'm just gonna give my quick synopsis real quick. Um,
Mhm.
Everything that y'all said was absolutely valid. The biggest takeaway for me is the discipline aspect of it. The non-ball specifically speaks about discipline because discipline is what's gonna get us to that next level. So discipline from narcotic drinks, discipline from
Mhm.
not abusing our sex, discipline from not abusing food, discipline from not abusing just almost everything that is an indulgence within this
Mm-hmm.
society because capitalism is geared towards indulgence in food, clothing, and shelter. How many houses does a person really need to have? You understand? Look
That's
at look
true.
at what the billionaires are doing. You got Bill Gates with over 400,000 to 500,000 acres of land. For what? What do you need all that land for? We know that, of course, he's doing that for a specific purpose, which is to control the food supply so that he could poison the people. But my
Mhm.
point is that this is the type of mentality and mindset that these people have.
Mhm.
But we are Ethiopians and we are Africans. We do not think like that. We do not need 500,000 acres of land if we're not going to spread it amongst our people. If 500,000 people can't share an acre of land, then we don't need it. Why does a person need that much
Mhm.
land? You understand the
Mhm.
overindulgence with drinks and things like that. The alcohol. Every time people got to go out, I got
Mhm.
friends that's like that. Every time they go out, they got to have a drink. I gave up drinking a long time ago. It's been over maybe a decade now that I've given up
Mhm.
drinking.
Mhm.
And I realized that that type of drinking does not do anything for your body. Nothing good. Only thing it does, it feeds the dopamine, but it destroys your liver. It destroys your liver, and in turn, it destroys other aspects of the body. Also with food, food, the
Mhm.
overindulgence in food. We're not just talking about just any old food, the sweets, the bad food that they serve us. And even when you try to eat healthy these days, they're poisoning the healthy food too. The
Mm-hmm.
healthy food isn't good either. You understand what I'm saying?
Hot mess.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so our
Mhm.
culture is all about reversing this society and the negative effects that it has upon us. Even with the overindulgence with sex. Sex creates energies around us and in us. So we have
Especially that.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll be taking on the energy of a person that you know nothing about their mental health. Their mental health end up now affecting you and what you have going on in your life. You understand what I'm saying? So we take on the energy. This is part of the kindred laws that will be discussed further down the line. The kindred laws basically says that the energy of that person will affect you and what you have going on. So I'm saying all that to say we should all work on our discipline on a daily basis. You know,
Mhm.
we see that bag of sweets. Okay, let me not indulge in that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We see that the clothing that I mean it's okay if you want to get something nice for yourself. No one is saying that you can't get something nice for yourself. But it is the overconsumption and
Mhm.
the greed mindset that this society produces is something that we
Mhm.
have to eliminate within ourselves if we want to get to a better economic space. So that
Mhm.
paragraph is mainly about how to economize, and the biggest way to economize is the perfect word of discipline. Once we discipline ourselves, then we could get to the next level. All right, but I'm gonna close that out
Yeah.
with that thought right there. And I appreciate the Kens for supporting me once again on the platform. It was amazing. It was lovely. Thank you for those that showed up in the chat and those that are in the chat. If you can, please like, share, subscribe to all the platforms and the channels. We will be doing much more as the time progresses. New Karu created a Discord and all of those different things. So as things start to grow, we have many different platforms and avenues that we could tap into, and then we could grow as a digital community. But the first thing that you must do is to read these books and get a proper understanding before you join any group, even our group. Make sure that you got a proper understanding. Make sure that you're asking questions. Make sure that you are tapped in with the mental frequency of noon, and then we can start to build our communities and build our organizations. As Afrunu said, is pointless to build an organization when the minds of the people are dead. It won't
Mhm.
make any sense. Okay,
Mhm.
so true peace to everyone out there, and true peace to all the people, sorry, all the noble kings on the panel. um
All right, all right. Where's the ancestors?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, let's close out with the ancestors in the background. Real quick. I always keep forgetting the ancestors in the background.
All right.
All right.
True peace, everyone.
True peace, everyone.
Be safe
True
out there,
peace.
out in the underworld.